the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes.
It seems that we finally have some good news in the upcoming Chicago Bears head coaching search. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is BetUS. As always, Bears fans, you guys can head over to betus.com and use promo code YouTube150 for 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000, and also get 125% second and third deposits as well. Bears fans, we are finally at the final game of the season after a miserable season for the Chicago Bears. They end the year in Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. Right now, the Packers are the 10-point favorites to once again beat the Chicago Bears. But if any of you guys have any faith in the Chicago Bears, which I really don't. They haven't beaten the Green Bay Packers in a very, very, very long time, but you guys can go place your bets right now on this game. All right, Bears fans, once again, let's talk a little bit about the coaching search, because some fans, basically all fans, are pretty much left in the dark about how the upcoming Chicago Bears head coaching search will go. The only certainty at this point and what we know is that Kevin Warren will basically be helping lead the charge with general manager Ryan Poles. I know we've had a lot of conversations about if Ryan Poles will be safe or not after this Sunday's game against the Green Bay Packers. But there's a certain factor that have fans kind of nervous every single time the Chicago Bears are looking for a new head coach to lead the organization. And that is basically the use of a consultant to help them with this process. This is a process that has not worked for the Chicago Bears time and time again. When you look at the team chairman, George McCaskey, he has tried this method twice now. This is how the Bears ended up with John Fox back in 2015 and then Matt Eberflus in 2022. So, and once again, there's no evidence that shows that this works. There's a reason why the Chicago Bears keep having to find these new head coaches. And once again, there's some Bears fans out there that are a little bit concerned about the Bears using this process once again and it failing once again. But here's the good news, Bears fans. Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune actually eased those fears away by saying this: "It wouldn't do Poles any good to wonder what went wrong before he arrived. If you're talking about Chairman George McCaskey, I imagine he has spent some time doing some of the same. He's a hands-off owner, so it's not like he's inserting himself into football decisions. Hopefully the Bears have a better result in the coaching search this time. Unless we hear something different, it sounds like they won't be using a consultant, and I never thought that was a great idea when Ernie Accorsi and then Bill Polian were hired." Once again, Bears fans, if this news is true, and for the first time in a long time, the Chicago Bears don't hire a consultant to help them with their head coaching search, this would be a huge positive for the Chicago Bears and really mean at least the Chicago Bears won't let someone else dictate their fate on the next head coach. Once again, we talk about Ernie Accorsi and then Bill Polian in 2015 and in 2022, helping lead the search for the Chicago Bears. Once again, these two men were brought on to lead the charge to find the next Chicago Bears head coach, and each time it was a massive failure. We all know what happened with John Fox back in 2015. He had a terrible record as the Chicago Bears head coach, and then we all know what happened with Matt Eberflus. He also had one of the worst records in Chicago Bears history. So when you look at Bill Polian and both Ernie Accorsi, these were both once really, really good general managers in the National Football League. But once again, you think about how old they were at the time that they were hired as consultants within the Chicago Bears organization. Accorsi was 72 at the time, and he hadn't been active in the National Football League for over 11 years. And obviously, Bill Polian was 79 years old and had retired 12 years prior. So to me, I don't understand why George McCaskey and the Bears organization kept hiring these old-ass consultants to try to help lead the search. Obviously, the game has passed their time, and I'm not trying to disrespect on what they once did in the National Football League, but I always found it quite dumb that they kept hiring these old has-beens to try to find the next Chicago Bears head coach. And the reason why I didn't like the idea of bringing in consultants, because when Bill Polian was hired, for example, to help lead the way, and they ultimately fell on Matt Eberflus. The only reason why Bill Polian chose Matt Eberflus or directed the Bears towards Matt Eberflus because he had a relationship, a connection with Matt Eberflus, and that's why ultimately the Chicago Bears really appreciated his service and were really saying, okay, if you like Matt Eberflus, then hey, he must be a good coach, right? That was a massive failure. So it's one of those things that I hope the Chicago Bears have learned from their mistakes. And obviously Brad Biggs, that has quite the connections inside Hallis Hall, basically insinuated that the Chicago Bears are going to go in a different route. And to me, that gives me a little bit more hope, because that means Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles, if Ryan Poles does in fact is retained or extended as the Bears GM, will be on the forefront in picking the next head coach. And to me, that does give me a little bit of hope, because you're not depending on Accorsi, or you're not depending on Bill Polian, guys that are 70 plus years old and trying to help you lead the search. Once again, the game has passed them by. We are now in 2025. The NFL has changed so much. So to me, that does give me some encouragement that hopefully Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles choose the right guy to lead this football team. Of course, we've been hearing a lot about Ben Johnson. Of course, we heard a lot about Cliff Kingsbury expected to get an interview with the Chicago Bears. Obviously, Albert Breer, as of today, was talking about that Brian Flores, the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator, has a realistic shot at landing the Bears head coaching job as well, which to me, I am totally out on Brian Flores. I'm not saying he's not a great defensive coordinator, but we've all seen what he was with the Miami Dolphins. That was a total shit show over there in Miami the couple seasons that he was the head coach. I don't want him coming in here and ruining Caleb Williams. And for me, everyone knows what I want. I want an offensive-minded head coach that can help Caleb Williams get in the right direction. If you're not able to land Ben Johnson, that is totally fine. I would be okay with Cliff Kingsbury. I know people may feel indifferent about Cliff Kingsbury. I do feel like he has learned from his mistakes during his first stint as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, he is being groomed basically by Dan Quinn, who is an excellent head coach in the National Football League. And I think the connection with Caleb Williams as well would make Cliff Kingsbury a really good candidate to be the next Chicago Bears head coach. But to me, that's only if we're not able to land Ben Johnson. So overall, Bears fans, I wanted to come on here really quick and just give you that good news, because I feel like the Bears not hiring a consultant this time is actually huge, because that means they're not letting someone else dictate their fate on who they should hire to be their next head coach. This is going to be a Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles decision, and I think that's the only two people that matter. Don't even ask George McCaskey what he wants, because once again, he's usually out of it in terms of football decisions with the Chicago Bears. So Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, don't mess this hire up. Make sure you nail this hire, and then hopefully they can continue, or hopefully try to build a team around Caleb Williams and get a winner back here with the Chicago Bears. So overall, Bears fans, let me know how you feel about this little news I reported today on Keek on the Mic. But as always, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Keek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. And once again, make sure you guys head over to betus.com and use promo code YouTube150 for 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000, and get 125% second and third deposits as well. Other than that, I'll be back for all new Bears podcast right here on Keek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Keek on the Mic.